episode of Studio Q. I'm Sharie.
And I'm Graham. I hope you all enjoyed your long weekend and are ready to get back into the swing of things here on campus.
It's been a week of political activity here at Queen's, and Studio Q has all the details.
Students cast their ballots to determine the fate of Surface, and a new vote education campaign was launched by the AMS Academic Affairs Commission.
But first, the search that began last year after Principal Smith announced his retirement has finally come to an end.
Starting next September, Queen's will have a new principal. On Tuesday, the Queen's Board of Directors announced that Dr. William Leggett will take over for Principal Smith when he retires next summer. Dr. Leggett comes to Queen's from McGill, where he served as Vice Principal of Academic Affairs. Leggett, who is 54, has a doctorate in zoology, which makes him the first scientist and externally appointed principal since Robert Wallace almost 40 years ago. William Leggett got the job on Tuesday after a unanimous recommendation by the Principal Search Committee.
But I'm confident that the expertise is here, and I'm truly honored to have an opportunity to participate with others in bringing Queen's forward to the 21st century and beyond. Pleasure to be here.
We will have an extensive interview with our new principal later on Studio Q.
The results in the full referendum were released Friday at this press conference. All the questions passed, except for the one concerning the future of funding for Surface magazine. It went down by a narrow margin. 55.6% for the no side and 44.4% for yes supporters. The next step for Surface and ASSES is unclear.
Jen, Steve, and I are now currently taking this into consideration, and we'll be dealing with the results momentarily.
Studio Q will have a complete follow-up to the results next week.
Students who want to vote on October 25th will have to keep a few things in mind. The voters list from last year's referendum will be reused in order to save money. This will obviously pose problems for Frosh and students who've moved. So, rather than enumerating door-to-door, Elections Canada sent out special voting forms to each household at the end of September. If you haven't received one, or you have any problems, or you just have any questions about voting, you can contact them at their Kingston office at 530-2000, or you can drop by their office at 63 Queen Street, between Queen and Wellington.
The AMS Academic Affairs Commission launched their vote education campaign this week.
The Commission hopes to raise campus awareness of education issues, especially funding issues, in this upcoming fall election. With more details, here's Crawford Smith.
With the national election only 2 weeks away, jobs, the deficit, and Quebec's potential sovereignty are the issues politicians are heard debating most often. The vote education campaign is trying to change that. As a coalition of 21 student governments across Canada, representing 300,000 voters, the campaign hopes to make post-secondary education a national issue. AMS President Catherine Phillips and Academic Affairs Commissioner Taj Pir Mohammed are running the vote education campaign here at Queen's. Pir Mohammed had this to say about the goals of the coalition.
The goals of the campaign are varied. They, first of all, we're targeting politicians to make sure that they know what our needs are and they're aware of all the issues that face post-secondary education in post-secondary educational institutions today. And we want to make sure that they're accountable to what they say, and we want to make sure that we know their views and how they stand on a whole slew of different issues.
The vote education campaign goes beyond simply raising general awareness about post-secondary education funding. Not only have they asked politicians across the country to submit their responses to some tough funding questions, but they have also developed a comprehensive survey addressing some of these issues.
Sure. Well, we're looking at two aspects of the student loans program. First, short-term changes to ensure that students are being taken care of in our national student loan program. As well, we're looking at long-term changes to an income contingent loan repayment plan that the federal government could institute.
Queen's is playing a large role in this vote education campaign. Aside from raising awareness locally, Queen's has also taken responsibility for the Ottawa area. Kate Phillips feels that it's important for the AMS to take such a leading role.
Yes. I think it's really crucial that student governments take stands on student issues because, as far as I'm concerned, we're the only ones that are going to be promoting such issues. So if we're going to spend any money at all, that's what we should be promoting. What's more important right now is for students and the city, the candidates, to realize the impact of the federal government on our institutions.
A point of clarification should be made about the vote education campaign. It is not part of USA and is therefore not subject to the AMS referendum. Further, the majority of the cost of the program is not coming out of students' pockets, but is being fundraised by all members of the campaign.
The vote education campaign is something that interests you. The AMS has once again gone out of its way to promote it. Stop by the head office for your own personal lawn sign. For Studio Q, I'm Crawford Smith reporting.
Students held a protest on Tuesday against the logging of Claquet Sound. The rally was part of a national day of action to preserve the world's largest remaining temperate rainforest on BC's west coast. After speeches, organisers passed out chalk so that students could record the protest on the sidewalk. The All Candidates meeting for Kingston and the Islands met to debate NAFTA at KCVI on Tuesday night. Candidates spoke individually about the agreement before addressing questions from the audience. Although NAFTA hasn't been a major campaign issue, the debate was well attended.
And here's what's on where for this week. At Alfie's, where they always have cheap wings, Thursday features the Welcome Back Week Smoker. On Friday, it's the Arts 95 Smoker. And Saturday is the All Year Commerce Smoker. At the Toucan, there's always plenty of great live music. On Thursday, it's the Weeping Tiles. On Friday, Dr. Teeth. And Saturday features the Freeway Band. At the Shot, be sure to sign up for a pool tournament. On Thursday, catch The Simpsons in Seinfeld, and of course, Bedhead Fridays. On Saturday, it's the Phys Ed Pool Tourney with a doubles tournament starting at 2 p.m. And on Tuesday, it's Jazz at its best with Blues Night. At Dr. Gertie's, catch the Jays in their quest for a repeat World Series title. On Thursday, it's the Crazy Copy Center and Bids Kids Smoker. On Friday, it's the Arts 96 and Com 94 Smoker. And on Saturday, catch Game 1 of the World Series on the big screen. And the Quiet Pub, don't let the name fool you. On Thursday, catch Homer, Marge, and Jerry on the screen, plus the ever-popular Kramer Lookalike Contest. And on Friday, it's live jazz all afternoon, starting at 2. And that's what's on where for this week.
The main topic of conversation this week on campus has been politics. And keeping with the mood of times, Queen's has had its own political changeover.
The appointment of a new principal is a rare event, but a fascinating one. Studio Q had the opportunity to speak with Principal-elect Dr. William Leggett about his plans for Queen's. Hi there, we're here at the Faculty Lounge on Queen's campus with Principal-elect Dr. Bill Leggett to ask him a few questions on his recent appointment to that position.
Okay, first and foremost, why were you attracted to Queen's?
Well, two primary reasons. One, I've always been deeply committed myself to quality in teaching, and I've tried to do that, and this is a university which has set its marks high in that area and has achieved a great deal. The other is that I believe very firmly that a university, a true university requires a symbiosis between scholarship and teaching, that the two reinforce one another. And again, this is a university where that seems to have been a part of the culture for a very long time. So those aspects, plus the challenge of a university of the caliber of Queen's, convinced me to take the plunge.
After hearing you speak at a news conference about more of an open approach or describing yourself as a very open individual, I wonder if during your term we can expect more of an accessible approach in terms of involvement or direct involvement with various clubs and communities here at Queen's.
Well, as I indicated in my earlier comments, I believe very much in an open style of governance in the university. I hope very much that I would be able to bring that open style to Queen's. It's premature for me to comment on whether Queen's requires greater openness or doesn't. I haven't been here and I haven't fully experienced the level of openness that does exist. But as a personal philosophy, I consider that important, and I hope that to the extent possible we'll be able to achieve it.
In your earlier press conference, you mentioned that you wanted to build upon Queen's national reputation. How do you intend to go about doing that?
Well, my comments were that I believe Queen's does have a truly excellent national reputation. And in some sectors it has a good international reputation. But I believe quite deeply that the reputation of Queen's internationally is not what it could and should be given its quality. And so it's my hope that over the next 5 years or longer, perhaps, we could work to enhancing that international visibility. And I say that not because I'm interested in necessarily in Queen's being internationally visible, but what I am interested in is ensuring that the graduates of Queen's are internationally competitive. And in a shrinking world, I think it's vitally important that the students who attend Queen's become more aware of the international issues, participate in them as students, and become sensitive to the multicultural reality of the world they're going to enter. So I think it's vital in terms of the next stage in Queen's development that it develop this international perspective. And of course, it's well positioned to do that. It has facilities now in England, and we should be making the best of them. Yeah.
Would you think that the recent problems in terms of budgets or budget cuts in the province would have an impact on that goal in terms of international scope? Or?
Well, it may, and certainly the budget situation of this and other universities is going to require a much greater degree of definition of what the priorities are. And I don't imagine, I have no reason to believe that me coming in as principal and saying I think this is important is all that's necessary. I think it will be necessary, obviously, for me to work with others, convince them that this is important and it's worth supporting. In some cases, it will require more money. In other cases, it will require creativity and a directed approach to building liaison with other universities that have similar objectives. And I think we can do that.
This may be a difficult question for you to answer now, but upon just being introduced to the Queen's community, is there anything after your term you would consider you'd like to leave as a legacy, or possibly 2 or 3 points that you'd like to pursue during your term here at Queen's?
Yeah, my greatest hope is that I can leave Queen's stronger than it is today, and that is not stronger in the sense that it has evolved and adapted to the changing realities that are facing all universities, and has as a consequence created an even richer learning environment for its students. That's my hope. It's a big hope.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much.
So, Graham, have you ever wanted to jump out of a plane?
I can't say that I have. I don't actually like flying myself, so I don't like getting in. I can't imagine wanting to actually jump out of a plane.
So skydiving doesn't appeal to you then, eh?
I'd say no.
Well, Owen Rogers wasn't so scared when he filmed this report.
For thrill-seeking students, the Queen's Skydiving Club offers the perfect opportunity to risk life and limb in search of the ultimate rush. After a 2-hour classroom session, the prospective skydivers are driven out to the drop site at the Gananoque Airport for their first jump.
The mood prior to the jump was somber as the students looked forward with anticipation and apprehension to the moment they'd be hanging off the side of the aircraft.
Well, I told myself, before I wanted to die, I want to go skydiving, jump out of a plane. Maybe they'll both be the same time or something, I don't know.
Oh, just for the thrill of it.
Do I have any last words? Not really, because this is all going to turn out okay, I'm sure.
Don't let Tim have my stereo.
I'm just glad I wore the pants.
When the weather cleared up enough to allow safe jumping, 6 parachutists strapped on packs and jammed into a gutted Cessna. At 3,000 feet above the drop site, the first brave parachutists hung out of the door into 80-mile-per-hour winds and let go. The first-time jumpers get about 5 seconds of free fall before the pilot chute released from the plane triggers the ripcord and the main parachute opens. From then on, it's a 5-minute sail down to the ground.
Oh, it was great. It just felt like floating in the air. I never thought it'd be so easy to jump out of a plane.
Incredible. It was amazing. It was the best thing I've ever experienced. I loved it.
Yeah, I think everyone should do it. It was just, I was having like second thoughts in the plane, like, oh, why did I do this? But once I got out of the plane, it was just like, it was a good experience.
Everybody's got to do it, but they got to make it cheaper.
I sang up there. I sang Believe It or Not, I'm Walking on Air. I could do anything that I want to do up there. I can't believe it. It's such a high, Owen. You should get out in that plane and go up next.
Despite the success and excitement of the day, there were a few bumpy landings but no injuries. The cost for the course is $150 to $180 for a single jump, or $210 for a tandem jump. Though this price may seem a little bit steep for a student budget, one must consider the cost of the equipment needed and the high-risk liability involved in the sport. However, after completing one's first jump, the cost of subsequent jumps drops to $40. In addition to the fee, prospective jumpers must sign a form that waives the company of liability in case of an accident.
Some jump is a personal challenge. Others do it just out of fun. But in the 5 seconds of free fall prior to the chute first opening, surrounded by nothing and everything, these students have truly achieved a greater appreciation for life. Reporting for Studio Q with both feet planted firmly on the ground, I'm Owen Rogers.
Sharie, what's the most economical place to do grocery shopping here in Kingston?
I'm not really sure. I only go shopping either when I have no food and I'm absolutely starving and I spend an absolute fortune, or I don't go shopping at all.
You know what's a good deal too? You find the grocery stores where you get the free samples. Then you can just load up, like have your dinner at the grocery store actually, and then you're not as hungry and then you just buy minimal groceries or something.
Oh. So if you're concerned about your shopping, Cheyenne Church went and did the shopping comparison for this week's segment of It's Your Money.
A&P, I guess, for all-out grocery shopping.
I shop at Loblaws because it's way cheaper and better food.
The A&P at Berry Street because it's really close to my house.
One of the largest portions of every student's budget is spent on food. In Kingston, there are 3 grocery stores that are frequented by students: A&P, Loblaws, and Loeb. The question is, which store gives you the most value for your buck? A top 10 students' needs list was made to compare store prices. Milk has standardized pricing, so there were no deals to be found there. Loblaws had the best prices on spaghetti, bread, and toilet paper. Loeb had the cheapest cheese and garbage bags. They sold 40 bags for $2.99 compared to $4.99 at Loblaws. A&P had the lowest price for dish detergent. Overall, your best bet for these 10 items, although not by much, is Loeb's at $21.96. Up next is A&P at $22.13, with Loblaws coming in last at $23.10. The answer is not as simple as the lowest prices. There are a number of other factors that must be added to the equation: location, services, and the selection offered. A&P is in walking distance of most student housing, which is a big consideration when carrying groceries. It offers an average selection of products and normal service options. Although we weren't allowed in with the camera, Loblaws has a vast selection and is the only supplier of the popular President's Choice products. Unless you have a car, though, or are used to taking the bus, it's not the best option. Loeb, on the other hand, offers the greatest number of services: free coffee, a seafood aisle, a bread slicer, and a 100% guarantee on all its products. Unfortunately, it's even farther away than Loblaws. However, if you do manage to drive there, Loeb is the only store that offers carry-out services. In the end, the factors that will mean the most to you will dictate at which store you shop. Remember the bottom line: it's your money. For Studio Q, this is Cheyenne Church reporting.
Quack isn't only the sound duck makes. Here at Queen's, it also stands for Queen's University Atlantic Community Collective. Susanne Currie spent a night out with this group and has this report.
Quack, the Queen's Atlantic Community in Kingston organization, gathered to listen to music from out east and to bring a little bit of culture from Canada's east coast to Kingston. Part of this culture is a screech-in. Participants take a shot of screech, a famous Newfoundland rum, recite a traditional Newfie chant, then are hit by a paddle and finish up kissing a cod. Besides this unique ritual, what makes Maritimers different from the rest of Canadians?
I think we're a little more relaxed than a lot of people that are around here anyway.
I think we have a lot more community ties. Like, if someone else is from the same province, we're really like, oh, you're from there too? Like, let's go out.
Some Quack members were feeling a little homesick and talked about what they missed most.
It's kind of hard to describe. There's a difference in the people. I'm not saying it's good or bad. There's a difference in like how you go about things. It's just like a totally different sort of lifestyle.
Even though Easterners form a close community, they welcome anyone to join Quack. Those who came to experience a different culture expressed some of their thoughts about this group from the Atlantic provinces.
Are nicer, more alcoholics, but not really. You know, they got it under control and all, you know?
Yeah, a lot friendly. A lot less paranoid, you know.
Just nice, really nice people.
For those of you from out east, you'll be pleased to know that we have a little Maritimes of our own right here in Kingston, taking the form of an organization called Quack. So if you're from the Maritimes or you're just simply interested in indulging a little bit of screech, come on out and be a part of Quack. For Studio Q, I'm Susanne Currie reporting.
Next week on Studio Q, who do you want to send to Ottawa? Studio Q checks out the candidates here in Kingston.
Hi, this is Paul Bertrand with the Brouhaha Sports Break. One Queens team that has not received its fair share of publicity this year is the girls' soccer team, who have quietly compiled a 9-1 record en route to a nationwide ranking of 3rd place. Last night they played host to Trent and easily beat them 6-1. As with many of their games this year, Trent offered no contest, and the mood on the Gales sideline was one of happiness and boredom.
We're so excited about this game.
The girls' soccer team may well be our best bet for a championship this year.
But we are going off to Ontario's in 1st place in 2 weeks, and then hopefully we off to Nationals the week after that. So I hope we do all the rest of the season.
The football team, fresh from an easy victory over the anemic Carleton Ravens in Ottawa to the tune of 26-8, is preparing to face the Ottawa GGs this weekend at Richardson Stadium. Though their performance this year has not lived up to expectations, their once distant playoff hopes could be very much alive with a victory over the struggling GGs. The girls' volleyball team, fresh from 2 recent victories south of the border, is getting set to start the 1993-94 season. Though the Gales are a very young squad, fielding 6 rookies, they look to be quite strong this year and appear confident that this campaign will be a successful one.
I'm Cindy Miller. I'm the assistant coach for the Queens Women's volleyball team, and we look good this year. Hopefully it looks promising.
They tip off their season with the Queen's Invitational Volleyball Tournament this weekend. Another team that is gearing up for the new sports year is the men's basketball team, who will take to the courts with 7 new players. Though they will certainly miss their players who graduated, such as Dave Smart, last year's leading scorer, they are a much bigger team this year, and they have high expectations for the season. The basketball team debuts this Friday night at 7 p.m. in Bartlett Gymnasium. In other sports action this week, the men's soccer team took on Carleton and tied 2-2, then defeated Laurentian by a score of 2-1. This puts their record at 4-4-1, good for 4th place in the Eastern Division. The rugby teams traveled to Western, where the first 15s won 17-6, and the second 15s won 7-6. In golf action, the Queens team traveled to Waterloo for the OUAA Championship, where they finished with the bronze medal, with a team score of 642 behind Windsor and Guelph. Kudos go to Gord Percy, who was named a 1993-94 All-Star. For Studio Q Sports, I'm Paul Bertrand.
Hi, and now it's giveaway time. You can either win a t-shirt from Dr. Gertie's or a baseball cap from The Shot, and this is just for Thursday's show.
So for those of you who've been paying close attention, here's the tough skill testing question. Give us the name of the new principal-elect here at Queens. So if you know that, be the first one to phone in at 541-1040, and you win.
And if you haven't seen Unforgiven on the big screen yet, the Student Film Theatre is putting on Friday at Dunning Auditorium at 7:30 and 10:30, and it's only going to be $3.50. So, go out and see it.
Oh, and if there's any questions, as usual, feel free to give us a call, 545-6699, or better yet, drop us a line, Studio Q, room 22, JDUC, Kingston, Ontario.
And that wraps us up this week, so...
Thanks for watching.
Bye. I'm Sharie Ross.
And I'm Graham Abbey.
See ya.
See ya.